to lay off the balance. Deal 13 finds that the sum of world revenue exceeds $70 billion to the authority for redistribution to developing and landlocked nations. Particularly, Pedro Contes was that if these royalties would follow current U.S. foreign aid policy, the impact is reducing poverty. Aid reduces poverty, and meta-analysis on the effects of foreign aid on 49 developing countries, some data of Western Michigan finds that a 1 percentage point increase in aid reduces the average income shortfall of poor by 3%, but contention too is diplomacy. In the status quo, tensions with China are at an all-time high. Chapter 18 corroborates that China has been rapidly increasing its military deployment in the South China Sea, leading to an increase in U.S. military response. Diplomacy between these two nations is at an all-time low. However, China wants more diplomacy. Lagarde 18 writes that China has been making many changes regarding diplomacy, reflecting the high priority that Xi Jinping gives to foreign policy. However, the United States is taking a step back, essentially blocking communications and diplomacy. Luckily, U.S. accession to UNCLOS will inherently fix this in two key ways. First, decreasing hypocrisy. Currently, China won't listen to U.S. legal challenges concerning disputes with the South China Sea. Now, 18 states that this is because the U.S. stresses the importance of UNCLOS provisions when making legal arguments for Chinese compliance with international law. China, however, is quick in turn to remind the U.S. of its non-foreign status. A diplomatic stalemate often ensues, which is why Rule 14 tells us that once the U.S. ratifies UNCLOS, we would have a legal basis to challenge China. The new credibility will obtain will allow for more effective communications with China, as they lose their main argument that the U.S. is a hypocrite. The next 11 confirms, stating that legitimacy is key to future dialogue with China, and critically Equation 12 tells us that communication mechanisms can provide a means to diffuse tensions in a crisis and prevent escalation and help keep and prevent a U.S.-China conflict. Second is that the UNCLOS provides a legal framework. In the status quo, the U.S. and China have no way of resolving territorial disputes other than utilizing military exercises, which inherently increases tensions. St. Nicholas 17 writes that the U.S. utilizes spin-offs and other military exercises because we don't have good diplomacy with China. However, by affirming the resolution, the U.S. and China have a better way of resolving territorial disputes through UNCLOS, the only multilateral treaty that deals solely with maritime territorial disputes. In fact, Round 16 finds that UNCLOS has solved conflicts and provides a solution to disputes brought before them and clarifies the legal framework. Finally, the next 11 corroborates that UNCLOS already provides a framework for communication, resolutions, and varying interpretations of conventional provisions, which inherently is a way to decrease tensions. The first impact is militarization. Con 14 of the Council of Foreign Relations writes that the region has seen an increase in militarization in response to China's power. Vietnam and Malaysia have both led regional military buildups. Unfortunately, this hurts the citizens. BD18 writes that for nations still developing economically, a focus on military spending often means spending less on priorities, which is why Crater 17 concludes in a multinational study that if the percentage of GDP spent on defense spending increases by 1 percentage point, overall economic growth decreases by 9 percentage points. But the second impact is regional conflict. Chapter 18 reports that in 2018, China's continued militarization in the South China Sea will lead to heightened tensions as the rate of closing conflict increases. Indeed, Prax 18 writes that the sheer intensity of military activity has increased the chance of miscalculation, leading to a war between the U.S. and China. Rule 18 furthers that there are no safeguards against miscalc, and the U.S. and China have seen a breakdown in communications due to the trade war. Tragically, Sharon 17 of the Independent writes that a war between the U.S. and China could possibly go nuclear and through the entire global turmoil for these reasons we affirm.
Is the U.S. is blocking diplomacy right now? You would talk about attention to?
China's normalization diplomacy. About the Lagarde part, yeah. The United States is.
The U.S. is blocking diplomacy as well.
Okay.
Hey, you see it doing this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
Unionville, where sole intention is maintaining order, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea subjects all U.S. maritime actions to hundreds of regulations, bureaucratic oversight, and the potential for legal disputes. To prevent these hurdles from undermining American interests, Groves in 2012 with the Davis Institute explains that through Navy power, the United States already has full jurisdiction over its entire extending continental shelf through acts of Congress and bilateral treaties with neighboring countries. This, coupled with U.S. leadership in international organizations, explains why the U.S. Navy has never been successful international water in modern history. This strategy is key to preventing tensions from escalating into violence. BAM of the East Asia Forum in 2018 finds that this strong American naval presence has reassured our allies that they have American backing, driving a multilateral effort against China's expansion. Countries like the Philippines, France, England, and Vietnam have all joined the United States in putting pressure on China's militarization of the South China Sea. Pew Bow of the National Interest in 2018 furthers in August that as a result of these developments, the South China Sea conflict has largely frozen over and is unlikely to continue. Given the United States' powerful forces in the region, both sides have concluded that there is no choice but to establish a common and inclusive security with Asia on member states and other stakeholders. Both will continue to display their power and stay pace, but China is unlikely to occupy new territory or threaten to use force against surrounding nations. The U.S. is in a position of strength right now, but is sitting to use to destroy America's strategic position in two ways. The first is undermining American maritime operations. Acceding to UNCLOS would destroy America's capacity to limit conflict using its navy. Torelli in 2015 writes that in the status quo, the United States intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance for the ISR domestic branch is our main deterrent against China and their militarization. It more broadly represents our ability to check back China's agenda. Unfortunately, Valencia in 2018 continues that the ISR operates on intelligence gathered within the exclusive economic zones of many countries, especially China. The U.S. says that ISR probes directly violate the requirements outlined in UNCLOS to respect their internal territory and thus would be excluded with the accession of UNCLOS. More generally, UNCLOS imposes burdensome regulations on naval operations, as Hodges in 2014 of the Ocean Law Journal writes that under the conventions, states do not have the legal authority to board a vessel suspected of weapons proliferation unless the vessel gives permission or the state meets high evidentiary standards. The second is emboldening American adversaries. While high tensions quickly escalate the conflict, acceding now would only accelerate the nation's campaigns. Hegarian in 2015 of the National Interest explains that nations like China are invoking the right purpose and passage of the UNCLOS as a legal justification for their operations, misinterpreting the treaty while citing the U.S. non-accession as cause for their own aggression. Yet, as Blumenthal of the American Enterprise Institute in 2012 writes, the United States already acts in accordance with international law, while China, which has ratified UNCLOS, uses it to subvert the law. Conceding to these nations' demands sends a signal to the world that countries can act aggressively, falsely put the United States and the U.S. would concede to take action to weaken itself. This precedent would convince nations that such an act is ineffective, inciting more bad behavior and more scapegoating. As Professor Edward Glaser in 2012 verifies, Beijing's thirst for power would not be satisfied by agreement. Concessions would only encourage more demanding policies on offshore islands and the East and South China Seas. The impact is stability, acceding to UNCLOS by weakening America and strengthening adversarial nations claim to destroy our strategic position. Ashley Gatellis writes in her book, Balancing Containment in 2014, that when America's relative strategic position is undermined, power-hungry nations ramp up military and territorial aggression response, taking declining U.S. power to represent weakness and inaction. Even if conflict never happens, increased tensions have enormous day-to-day impacts, halting diplomacy and disrupting international trade. Crabtree in 2016 of CNBC writes that there were $5 trillion in annual trade passing through the region, and 1.5 billion people are reliant on economic activity for food and jobs. Even short-term disruptions spike prices of basic goods and push millions into poverty and starvation. Thus, renegade.
Do you care where rates you cross? So, can I talk about emboldening? Emboldening is like a Chinese interpretation. So, how does the United States sign on to this embolden Chinese interpretation?
So it's not like Chinese interpretation. We're strengthening adversarial nations' claim. That's a tag that we said.
Okay.
So what happens is that when you cedes, we would tell you that China legally does not have to follow any of the rulings because it's signed an exemption. So at that point, when China keeps citing the U.S. like their aggression because of U.S. non-accession, other countries can be like, oh wow, China's doing this, why don't I do that? And that
So are countries doing that in the status quo?
China is doing that.
But you said other countries are going to start listening to China.
So the thing is, our link into that is that if we were to accede and China were to continue to not listen, that's what triggers the
How is that? Why specifically is that unique? I don't understand why the U.S. is.
Okay, so what it is that like China right now says that the reason I'm aggressing and I'm like I might weaponize the treaty is because the U.S. has not acceded, right?
Sure.
So when the U.S. accedes and China continually does not listen to rulings because it legally does not have
Okay, but China
countries will be like,
in the past. China literally listened to the Philippines for 2 years, then stopped listening because they looked away.
so they did stop listening.
Because the international community looked away, the article was on
So wait, so if China does not gain focus on the issue,
China stopped listening because the international community stopped looking at them. The United States fixes that because we keep China on track.
Wait, what do you mean the international community just looks away from that?
Like no one was
The Philippines was constantly putting pressure on China to
Well,
follow.
we'll bring up the part in our rebuttal. Like what is
I
that?
think it's like very important like far away bringing it up, right? The fact is that China legally does not have to follow like, any of the rulings because of Article 309 under UNCLOS, which says that China does not have to follow any of the rulings that they like if they don't like it. Second part question. So on your second contention, if you talk about this legal framework, is there a mechanism? Actually, sorry, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about your impact on regional conflict.
Yeah.
You say if tensions are rising right now, is going to increase in conflict. Why haven't we seen that happen?
Because we haven't reached the point of conflict.
What is that bright line?
Like no one can tell you what the bright line is, but we would take a chance.
So
on
how do I know
this
the impact on the impact?
So we would say, okay, so that's one impact we would give, but then two, we would say that
That's a pretty important impact. So.
yeah, but we would say that the chance of this happening and the chance of millions of people like dying in a nuclear conflict is really, really important. The probability
So how do you get to nuclear conflict? That's my question. Like I agree, like a nuclear conflict might happen, but how much? Sure, it's missed up. How much does missed up increase?
like no one can give you like 5 miscounts. Like I can't tell you how many miscounts.
I feel like you should be able to do that.
Can't be quantified and contextualized. Like I like
It definitely
in
can.
what percentage do you want like a 5% increase in like miscalculations?
No, I want a 5% increase in conflict is my question.
Okay. Like no one can give you that card.
You definitely can.
Okay. Okay. It's basically okay. I don't really have a question that you can answer.
Oh, sure. I just want to make this clear. Your CAN cards for 2014, right?
Our CAM card, the
CAN,
yes.
military spending. So it's just not an accurate representation of the stats quo.
No.
When you said no, were you agreeing with him or disagreeing with him?
Disagree.
Okay. I'm not gonna accidentally make a secret, right?
I'm gonna write this down.
Oh, can I call for like, can I see Article 309?
298. What was that?
Oh, 298?
Yeah.
Okay, that's, okay, cool.
It's different, but it's
Wait,
the
you
same.
guys said 298?
Yeah, they said 298 as the
For-
reason why.
We don't cite 298. We cite the foreign policy analyst who says.
Wait, but he said that China signed on to Article,
Yeah.
whatever, what
Yes.
article? It was
That's
298.
yeah, I'll show you that.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, can I also call for it? I shall call for it.
Yeah.
So here's a card. It's from the phone call.
Which card is this?
It's a foreign policy that China.
It's not right.
Wait, can you just read it during our
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm reading it.
I got like 50,000.
Alright, we'll do yours.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Alright, I'm just gonna go straight down the case. Is everybody ready? Let's start off at the top of their case where they tell you that when we join UNCLOS, our maritime actions are going to be threatened and they're going to stop. First of all, our maritime actions won't stop. EO 18 tells you that the U.S. FONOPs are currently legal under UNCLOS because the UNCLOS Council has ruled that the so-called Chinese territory that the United States is conducting FONOPs in is not China's territory. Therefore, it's not part of China's EEZ or their territorial seas, and under UNCLOS, no negative repercussions are going to happen to the United States. And second of all, and more importantly, you can use this response as a blanket statement for a lot of their impacts in their case about like military and why we can't do all these new things under UNCLOS. Because according to Article 298, it says that the military is able to be exempt from a lot of these restrictions and allowed to continue current interpretation of UNCLOS, which is different than a reservation, which means you blatantly don't follow the law. Insofar as the United States has already agreed that they would make a declaration, that's why we're not going to have to follow all of the military rules that UNCLOS has to offer. And that's also the reason why, according to HUD 10, the U.S. military is one of the most strong supporters of UNCLOS. It really wouldn't make any sense otherwise if the U.S. military knew they would have to stop these phone-offs and they would still encourage and bolster supporting UNCLOS. Alright. But also, I would turn this because they tell you that phone-offs are really important, this hard power is really important in the South China Sea. However, that's not the case. The phone-offs actually caused China's militarization. According to VOA in 2018, the U.S. ship movement is an aggression against China's sovereignty. It says that the U.S. presence is the reason for China's increased military presence in the South China Sea. And that's really important because the source of all of the tensions in the South China Sea is China's increased military presence. All of the tension is coming from China building islands in disputed territories in other countries' seas. Their impact is that these phone-offs are going to be really good for their allies and reassuring their allies. But the thing is, their allies only need to be reassured because China is militarizing and they are afraid of China. However, we solve the root cause of this if we do stop phone-offs because China is not going to be militarizing, as I told you, is because the direct reason is the phone-offs that we talk about in their world. Now, let's talk about the part that they tell you that ISR is going to be harmed. Turn this because ISR is going to increase tensions. According to Valencia in 2017, there have been several dangerous incidents resulting from ISR probes. The U.S.-China relationship was strained by the EP3 incident as well as the 2011 and 2013 incidents. In August 2014 and also 2015, China jet fighters intercepted U.S. intelligence gathering aircraft, which increased tensions. So you see that these ISR operations also increase tensions, which is the root cause of all of their impacts. So we tell you that if we decrease ISR, that's actually going to be really good because it's going to be decreasing tensions that come from these really dangerous, close-to-shore ISR missions. It doesn't stop all of ISR, but only the ones that really trigger these impacts about China getting more tense because it's too close for comfort for China. And then also they talk about how China misinterprets the treaty and cites U.S. non-accession. Couple issues with that. First, you can turn this because what they basically tell you is if we accede, then China loses their talking point, which is their excuse for misinterpreting the treaty, because they say that you cite U.S. non-accession. However, once we accede, then they lose that talking point, and now they have no more justification for misinterpreting UNCLOS, which is going to be really important because once we join, we can enforce our correct interpretation of UNCLOS, which is going to actually solve that for all of the tensions that are resulting from China misinterpreting the treaty and asserting their different areas in the South China Sea with their island building. And realize that their two impacts all stem from the tensions that are occurring in their world. However, we're the only team that offers solvency to these tensions because we offer a path through diplomacy.
Everyone ready? It's gonna start on our daily videos.
You're okay to start first? Just sign.
Yeah.
She concedes we have full access to our ECS. That's going to be important here. Go to our first one. The first response is that U.S. phone-offs are not in China's territory. Those are not the phone-offs that we're talking about. Our specific phone-offs are the ones that are illegal and within the 12 nautical mile area of China's coast. Your second response is about Article 298. This is wrong for two reasons. One, the name of Article 298 is optional exceptions. Countries accede to it by calling it a reservation. The definition of Article 298 is reservation. It's not within the grounds of this debate. But second is, even if you don't buy that, what we would argue is you're still bound by Article 50. You try to see with that reservation. But Article 50 states that we cannot surveil within a 12-mile radius. Why is that important? The Center for Arms Research Institute in 2018 continues that we need to be within 6.2 miles to gain any actionable intelligence. Then we're going to skip a couple responses because the uniqueness on their is resolved back. Her last response on this warning is about ISR increasing tensions. We can concede to that, but our argument is that the comparative is worse. But Torelli 13 tells us that the basis for all of our foreign policy in deterring China and any future policy is based on the information collected by these submarines, because it literally gives us all information on how to track what China's movements are. Without that, we are blind to the region. The comparative is much higher tension because China you see it as a blank check to aggress. Then most specifically on her second point, it's really just a cross-application of her case, so let's go to her case. On the first contention, the gross 12th part that I said at the top of this page about us having full jurisdiction on ACS completely delinks it. He continues that 20%
BCS is already being drilled in right now. There's no corporate legal certainty. There's no link here. But more specifically, there's no terminalization of this impact. There's just $70 billion are there, and their impact card is about 1 percentage point increase. $70 billion is less than 1%, not even a percentage point, which is different, of our 48 budget right now. We don't say how many people get help in poverty. It's a really bad impact. More specific attention to what the meat of this debate is going to break down into. On the uniqueness debate, this is going to be very important because you can control the rationality when whoever's winning uniqueness wins at least risk of solving the problem or maintaining solvency. It's wrong for 4 main reasons. The first, the White House in 2018 released a presidential report detailing the code of conduct established in 2016. In 2016, there was a joint summit held between the U.S., H1, and China countries. The result of it was 17 codes of conduct for economic and territorial cohesiveness. The World Bank in 2018 then implements this by saying that as of now, despite the rummaging trade war, prices are the most stable in East Asia for the last 30 years, with robust growth expected to increase by 6.2 percentage points. The second part of this extension is from both the national interest one case, but it tells us that conflict has frozen in the South China Sea specifically because of hard power. We can see there's not been a single territorial dispute approaching against our allies since 2016. When they talk about China militarizing, it is not an approach against our allies. We are comfortable in the region. The third response comes from Business Insider in 2018, but it tells us that for the first time in 40 years, U.S. flew illegal jets in territorial waters over China. But the consequence of this was that allies that were previously untouched, that Australia, Japan, and the Philippines felt secure in their ability to trust us. Then the fan evidence that we read in case tells us that yes, militarization is happening with certain countries like Vietnam, like the Philippines, but it's not out of insecurity. Rather, in popular eye, our theory is that of a deterrence method to successfully continue to China, given by the fact they have not approached our allies since 2016. The fourth part of this comes from their own part about the U.S. backing down on diplomacy, but it says that the U.S. is shifting away from the State Department to hard power, and we completely concede this. Their own evidence continues to say that because of this, on the current trajectory voting calm right now, continuing the status quo, China will pursue more diplomatic talks and open them up to completely securing the foreign policy realm and creating peace across the world. This is really damning for them, but specifically on the words about decreasing hypocrisy. It's going to be very important terminal defense. The U.S. is literally already in the IMO. If you just Google IMO members, in fact, it has a leadership role in founding it. The IMO is the diplomatic resolution body in Unionville right now. We can already have a say in them. Their arguments are really false. But second foreign policy in 2018 says that China signed on to Unionville's plea reservation and does not have to listen to any hearing. The big implication here is now by shifting away from hard power to diplomacy, which China legally, literally doesn't have to listen to, but our allies say that we cannot proactively actually defend China, they get less reassured. They're forced to militarize out of insecurity, which then leads to conflict, which they say is so bad. Second place?
Yeah. So in your response to our diplomacy point, you talk about how we get other nations' trust in the status quo, right?
Yes.
So why does Unionville destroy that?
So, a couple ways. The 2 warrants in my case are the first way. Also, because you would, okay, just want my 2 warrants.
Sure.
So the first one is that we wouldn't be able to sail in the 6.2 nautical mile area where all actionable intelligence
Wait, where these countries are, right? So if they want us to sail in their territory, can't they just let us sail in their territory if it's so good?
That's not what I'm saying.
That's how it works,
That's
though.
just not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that we wouldn't be able to sail in the 6.2 nautical mile area of China's territory, not our allies. And because of that, we will not be able to collect any intelligence on China's movements, which our allies specifically rely on U.S. intelligence. That's a Turali 13 card. And he says without it, China can literally encroach on any one of our allies that they want as a blank check because we just don't know how to stop them.
Okay. Are you talking about China as a country or China's territories? Like
China,
disputed territories?
talking about China's coast. When you look at China on a map, the coast of China.
Also, can we talk about something really important, which is
Yeah.
Article 298, which is the reservation,
We
right?
can talk about this
Or
for a second.
the reservation.
Sure. Yeah.
So you tell us that it's a reservation. However, it's a declaration that we've already made in 2004. So, yeah, I tell you that.
We made in 2004.
Yes.
Can you explain that?
We made a declaration. Basically, how Article 298 works is it offers countries the opportunity to offer.
Exceptions. That's the enablement.
Yeah, and the United States already agreed to this exception.
When France and UK signed Article 298, they said, these are my 6 reservations of signing UNICLOS.
Because they didn't make a declaration. That's different. A reservation is where you don't listen to it. But if you offer a different interpretation, that is a difference than a reservation. Because in a reservation, you're just saying I'm not going to follow it. However, in a declaration,
a different interpretation these 6 reservations that I won't follow. That's all it is.
That's-
I have a list of 10, I think like 10
I can like
Argentina,
pull up the
France,
difference
UK,
between a
Germany.
declaration and a reservation.
It's a
like on the
declaration
UN
of a
website.
reservation. Like
It's
I don't
not.
understand.
I tell you the definition of a reservation is you don't follow something, but a declaration is I have a different interpretation,
Even
which
without
allows
that-
the United States to. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
that's completely fine. Like, I agree that the ISR will be there in both worlds. I just argue it would be completely ineffective because we have to abide by Article 50, even
and
if
I would
we
say
use
that the
it.
root cause of all of the tension is China, right? And if we're making China even more angry by doing these ISR missions, that's actually turning your case
Okay.
because it's increasing tension.
So one, China's not angry at our ISR missions. It literally has not manifested in any way. Prices are stable. There are no territorial disputes. But 2, the comparative is worse. Without
Wait, there
ISR
are no
missions,
territorial